me if I was ready.
I'd like to call the Park and Rec Board for Tuesday, July 21st, 2020 to order. Roll call, please.
Mark Castonia, there you go. Justin Minor,
Here.
Mark Williams,
Here.
J.C. Dansman,
Here.
Aideen Hess is excused, Deborah Lundberg excused, Chris Serval.
Here. We have a quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was in stereo.
Stranger things, right?
I need a motion on the agenda, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Comments from the public? We don't have any public here this evening. If someone wants to chime in or contribute something, or if they're online, or if someone shows up, chime in when we hit that spot. Written communications, I have none. We don't have none. Anybody else have any? Okay, we'll move on to action on the consent agenda, which consists of the Park and Rec Board regular meeting from April 21st and the Park and Rec and Forestry expenditures.
Move to approve consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. 8, action items. 8A, discussion on possible action on community center fees. Rex, well, I'll start it off.
Sure.
We got I was contacted, had a letter written to me that's basically stating to look at our cancellation fees at the community center because someone booked it out a year ago or more and now has canceled their reservation and just wanted us to take a look at the policy, and I think it's in there, so I had Rex pull our policy and send it. And actually, I think he sent the whole book.
Well, we sent the reservation packet, which has all of the specific policies in the packet that the renters are given, and it's gone over with them when they sign it and do their actual reservation.
So basically, the way our policy states is that they lose 50% of the reservation fee
As long as it's a month out.
at least a month out. So
And then-
Rex,
And then they get their full deposit back, their full security deposit.
okay,
Because there's two fees. There's a security deposit, and then there's the rental fee. And on a cancellation, they will always get their security deposit back.
okay. And how much is the rental fee usually?
Depends on how many hours. It's going to vary, it could be as few as 4 hours. And if you take a look on the community center fee schedule that we photocopied, I'm going to say, take a look at page 22 of your packet. Page 22 of your packet. It'll show, that's the easy place to look, I should say. It'll show the different fees for the different rooms. So basically, like for the activity room, I know it's going to use 4 hours as an example. It would be $120 for the activity room for 4 hours, which boils down to $30 an hour. Or for the grand park room, it's basically $50 an hour. Which quite honestly, those fees are, if you look at like communities or private businesses, those are are lower than any of them that are out there.
So basically, there, the letter that I got from Mr. Bukowski was saying, he had somebody contact him that says that he thought that the 50% rental fee was too much for us to keep. Basically.
That is my understanding of what the concern was. Someone rented it and then wound up canceling. They rented it, they wound up canceling, and we withheld 50% of the rental fee, which has been the policy, again, since we've opened, and we've been open for, what, 4 years now?
Yeah.
So, and that's never changed in terms of keeping 50% of the rental fee.
So Rex has also gone out to other communities that have the same type of rental situation and has got some comparables, if you will, just so we got something, and then he handed it out to us, but you guys online can't see it right now.
Yeah, I can go over that. if
Sure.
you'd like. Okay. So in terms of municipal facilities that are comparable to ours, and some of you who were around when all these were dreams and thoughts and hopes before we built the community center, we toured Oconomowoc, we toured Warner Park in Madison. Both of those facilities have the exact same policy we do regarding they keep 50% of of the rental fee charge if there's a cancellation within a certain amount of time out. A similar one, I don't even have it. It is in here it is, West Bend, the wedding package. They have a newer facility, Lac Laurent Conservancy. They charge $3,000, and you only get 25% of that back if you cancel. So they would be keeping 75% of 3,000. It's a chunk of money.
Yeah.
And yes, it is a chunk of money. I don't disagree with that, especially if someone has the facility rented for an extended period of time, like all day. But by the same token, that has prevented, or I guess stopped, people from, on a whim, trying to reserve our facilities just to hold it and then canceling. We get a lot of questions. Well, I want to reserve this. I mean, and I don't want to put Sue on the spot, but we get a tremendous amount of questions. People say, oh yeah, I want to reserve that. And then until they find out that you have to pay up front, and then if they cancel, they only get 50% back. Once they're told that, Sue, I'm going to say, unless you know that you want the community center, and a lot of people say, okay, thank you much, and they will hang up and they'll call friends and family and relatives and make a decision, is this what we want? And then they call back if they want it, and then they lock themselves in. But it keeps a lot of people out there that aren't sure what they want, and they just want to reserve it, so it's still there. And when you do that, then it keeps potentially other people from renting it until that group cancels. So then there's lost revenue and the lost ability to host another Ashwaubenon resident in that facility. So it is a lot of money, but it's also standard practice for facilities like ours, for large rental rooms. We contacted De Pere. De Pere has it in Alloway, and I've got their information on here as well. Their room rentals, I mean, obviously the rooms are much smaller. I mean, the room itself is more like the Bukowski activity room that we have in ours. Like in De Pere, you can rent the room for the whole day for only $240, but it's a much smaller room. So there's not a lot you can do in there compared to like the Grand Park room in ours, or even the activity room with the amenities that we've got. And Alloway is like $100 for the entire day, but their facility, quite honestly, is like our old community center. vintage probably even earlier than that one was. So it's a little bit different. So trying to compare apples to apples, two of the ones that we did tour, Oconomowoc and Warner Park, are the exact same thing as ours. In fact, I know we took a lot of our policy from Oconomowoc, and when we talked with the staff there, and how it was working out for them.
I don't know how you can do it any other way to keep people from just tying up dates, with no repercussions. I mean, I understand it's tough to swallow, but make sure your group is together and you know what you want. I don't know what else we could do.
And Chris, I will say, due to COVID, if someone is canceling for COVID reasons, like the families aren't comfortable, or the people were going to fly in, but now they don't want to fly in because of different hot spots and stuff like that, we've given them 100% refund.
Okay.
We have given them, if they say it's for COVID-related reasons or concerns, we have not kept a penny of that. In fact, we've lost money on those because we're still being charged that credit card fee.
Right.
And that's just part of doing business. So, I mean, in that respect, we are certainly doing that. And if someone has a specific excuse, like, well, it was for someone's wedding anniversary and they passed away, special thing, give us a call, and we can make exceptions depending upon what that reasoning is. But if that's not told to us, if someone just wants to cancel because they found another venue or want to go somewhere else or don't want to have the event anymore, well, that's the 50% that we're keeping.
Yeah. And we're allowing people to also move a date if they want, is that correct?
Absolutely, at no charge.
At no charge.
In fact, we've had, and Sue can attest to this, we've had a lot of reservations this summer that were moved into the fall and even into next year, including, do we have some weddings that we're doing that too?
Yes, some large anniversary parties as well.
Yeah, and so because of everything that's happening, if they want to slide it to another date, that's fine, no charge to do that, or no fee payment or anything like that,
Right.
other than what you've already paid.
Okay.
Well, it's a special request to me, so that's why I put it on the agenda. We had to talk about it. I thought it was a lot higher fee in the first place. Personally, I don't have a problem with the way it stands right now, based on the other communities and what we're charging and everything. I'm fine with it myself.
And I'll be honest, Mark, I mean, the fees could be big. I mean, some people will rent it from, I want it from noon until midnight, well, that's 12 hours. At $50 an hour, that's $600. So that could be a $300 loss. So, I mean, the more time you reserve it, the larger
Sure.
that loss is going to be. But because of that longer time that you're reserving it, it also means there's less people that we're able to book in other time slots. And that's why we do it, is we don't want to be moving things back and forth. It's extremely confusing for Sue to be canceling permits and then moving permits and trying to give refunds. That's where mistakes are made, where you can get double bookings and different things like that. And we found that out, the hard way sometimes. So on this particular item, even though sometimes it could be, where you swallow, you take a deep breath, when you find out what someone's losing, if they're renting it all day long. I think it's in terms of processing and accuracy, I think it's needed, and that's why for staff recommendation on this item, it's to keep fees the same and not changing them, but we'll certainly, do as directed, by the park board and/or village board.
I think we're more than fair with the fees with what's in place here.
As long as we take into consideration the COVID things or special circumstances, I'm fine with it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys have anything you want to add?
Well, this is JC. Can you guys hear me?
You bet.
Yep.
Yep, okay. I guess my only thing when I was looking at this was just I was a little bit surprised by the 18 months. That seemed a little long to me. I guess just on the top of my head, I kind of always think a year ahead of time seems to be enough notice. So I guess my only, input to be is like just perhaps maybe thinking about almost like a, I don't know if you want to call it a sliding scale, but you know, if they would cancel within the 18 months, the 12 months, they give up 25% of their money, and then at 12 months they give up 50%. I mean, that would just be a way I feel like that we could bend a little bit with that, but I don't know, because I mean, 18 months just seemed like a really long time to me personally when I looked at it, and I thought maybe we could be flexible with that and do more of a, you know, depending on when they cancel. And obviously we don't want to have 10 different amounts, or okay, you cancel at 17 months, you get this, you cancel at 15 months, you get this. But maybe we could do something at 18 months and 12 months. That was my only thought.
Hi, this is Debbie. I agree with Stacy.
Okay.
Is that what other area venues have done as well? I mean, I'm sure we probably don't know the exact policy for every venue, but that does seem like at least a fair compromise.
There's no sliding scale that I'm aware of at any of the other facilities. It's if you cancel,
Do they all go out to 18 months?
whether it's 6 months out or whether it's a year and a half out, you lose a straight percentage. You know, just for bookkeeping reasons, accuracy reasons, accounting reasons. It's not that we couldn't do an accounting scale, but it creates another level of, another area that can easily create mistakes on scheduling, on staffing, on booking. And it's more work on Sue's part. And you know, I obviously, you know where I stand on it. You know, it's worked at this point for us for the 4 years we've been open.
Mark, you have any comment? Mark?
Well, it's kind of hard to hear, so I didn't know who you're directing your question to.
No, Mark hasn't said anything, so I just want to see if you had any questions, I guess.
Mark, you want to unmute yourself? Mark? There should be a little mute button on the bottom of your screen. If you click on the microphone, it should turn green, which means you can talk. Or we can go thumbs up and thumbs down.
Mark, can you hear us? Shake your head.
You can't.
I don't think you can.
No, I don't think.
All right.
Okay, so what do you want to do here, guys? I mean, you heard Rex's recommendation. I mean, I understand that would be the only compromise I would potentially be able to do, but I guess I'm not, I don't know. I understand both sides on it. It is a long time out. There should be a cancellation fee. I just don't, I'm flexible a little bit.
I just don't think we need to compromise. Like Rex said, it just creates more hassle for us. Like I said before, I think we're more than fair in what we're doing here. I understand where you guys are coming from on this, but I just don't think having two different levels or any more than one level or what was talked about, I don't think it's needed. I think we're very fair in what we do.
And I will say again, if there's a special circumstance,
I don't think that, you know, looking at when they sign the contract versus when they canceled it is that much of a hardship, but I know I'm not in the ins and outs, but I don't necessarily agree that, you know, to not make a compromise, but whatever the group, you know, goes with as a whole. But I, you know, when things are brought like this to us, I just think if we could try to make a compromise, and I think 18 months is really far out. But, and again, not that they wouldn't, they'd still have to pay a fee if they canceled. I just think that it can be like two, you know, it's not like I said, I'm not putting it on a 5-point scale. We're just talking about 2 different time frames. But like I said, I can agree to disagree with the group if everyone goes with no compromise. That's good too.
Yeah, and so I kind of think that's fair as well, JC. So is that going to require reprinting of materials? Is there an additional cost that's going to come from that as well?
well, it would just be changed when we don't have like thousands of brochures or anything like that. I mean, this would need to go to village board because it involves a price change.
It would not?
It would.
Rex, can I make a point?
Excuse me?
Can I make a point?
Sure.
Yep.
It's just that, noting that residents can rent out as far as 3 years, okay, versus non-residents, only 3 months. But many times I'll get people trying to plan weddings 3 years out. And that sometimes comes into play because they can't get something because it's
Right.
booked, and then suddenly something drops 18 months later.
I've reserved my son's graduation party at the community center 3 years from now.
Yeah, it's in high demand for weddings and
So
big parties.
it seems like a long time out, but there's plenty of people who are reserving 2 to 3 years out and
Easily.
looking for those dates. And if those dates are full, then they go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sue, Sue, it was a little bit hard to hear you, so I'm just gonna ask to clarify. So you're saying for the bigger rooms and whatnot, like for the weddings and different parties like that, you usually see, like they're booking it 2+ years out? Is that kind of what you said?
That is correct, for weddings, and oftentimes they will rent the whole facility, and they'll rent it, they'll take it 4 hours on a Friday night, and then all of Saturday as well, including the small room and the big room. And they can do it 3 years out. It's just information that I thought you guys would want to work into this.
And plenty do it. And we've had situations where people were like, you got to be kidding me, where they call up to reserve the community center 2 years out and it's already booked.
Absolutely.
So it's not out of the ordinary whatsoever to have the people book 3 years out. And then we turn people away.
And not trying to make this super complicated, but then for the big room where they're renting out, you know, like you said, for weddings, I mean, I've been in there a lot in my class, but I don't understand all the room, like what they're called, the activity room and the grand park room with the divider. But, I mean, if there's something that we can do differently with the bigger areas, or is that too hard to split it up? I guess I don't know. I just am trying to, like I said, I just try and be flexible with the feedback that we get from the community. Understanding, like you said, I mean, 18 months out, you know, further than that kind of makes sense to me for some of the bigger rooms and the bigger facilities, for the weddings, the graduation parties, everything like that. I don't know if it makes sense for some of the smaller rooms, but I definitely don't have the information, the listing of what types of events are booked, so I don't have that at my fingertips. So, I mean, your information to me was helpful. Like I said, I don't know if it would be an administrative nightmare to, you know, look at some rooms versus others. I don't know. Just trying to, like I said, throw out ideas instead of just not offering anything.
I think,
But go ahead.
Deb, were you going to say something?
No, I was done.
No, Deb.
I thought some.
I think Deb is out there, isn't she?
I'm out there.
Okay,
I'm okay.
okay.
That's good.
Is this the only time we've had somebody question this?
Formally, maybe.
Formally, sure. I mean, there's been a few people that have canceled reservations in the past, that, you know, where they had to take their 50%
Hit.
cut in the actual room reservation fee, but it's never, this is the first one that was actually ever requested by a board member to come to this level for review.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make a motion that we keep the fees, the cancellation fees as is.
Okay, we got a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Debbie.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 I saw Mark say aye. Or Mark, can you talk now?
He's green.
It has to be able to hear you.
Okay, motion passes. We'll move on to 8B, update on summer program during COVID-19.
I get asked this quite a bit from board members, and I'm just so everyone kind of knows, we are going pretty steady with a lot of our programming. I just want to run down the list of things that we are doing. Now, most of these programs have modifications, and I will be happy to explain any of the modifications to anybody if they wish. But we are running our day camp program currently over at Valley View School. We've got about 30 kids in it. Normally we have about 55, but it's still running with about 30 kids. We have the summer park program running at 3 park facilities instead of 7. The 3 park facilities that are running are Fort Howard, Smith, and Sand Acres. The Fort Howard program still has the school lunch program where they drop off lunches on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. We are still running our summer concert program. Few modifications there with our food service, spreading people out, a lot of hand sanitizer, propping doors open when possible to minimize touching. We had our first food truck rally a couple of weeks ago, turned out pretty good. Again, we spread the food trucks out a little bit more. Hand sanitizing stations, hand washing stations. We purchased our own last year, our own hand washing station, so that's worked well. We still have our neighborhood events going on. We are back in the Ashwaubenon High School pool with our swim lesson program and our swim team practices. Those have changed a lot, and I'll be happy to go into that. But just to let you know, the school district did, we're not able to let us back in until July 1st, and we started back up on July 6th. And we have modified swim lessons where parents are in the water with their younger kids up through level 2, and then the instructors are teaching from deck for levels 3 through 6. So that's been working well. And some of our aquatic exercise classes are also running with a maximum of 10 people in a class, just to make sure they're spread out a little bit more. And those are going well, they're full. We're still doing our senior programming, and any of you, if you'd like to get on our senior citizen, even if you're not a senior, as a park board member, we will be happy to get you on our mailing list. I mean, we put out a couple emails a week just on different program opportunities for our senior population. They can either come in person from any of them, and for a lot of them, including like the book club and some of the other things we've got going on, they have a Zoom or a GoToMeeting option for them. So people can do some of the senior programming that we're offering online as well. I mean, it's being held at the community center, but we've got a camera on one of our laptops set up where we can do something online. We still have a number of classes running at the community center with a maximum of 10. Our senior stretch, our tot dance. We've got some clubs and groups doing that are still meeting with a maximum of 10. Such as the sewing club. We still have the card players coming in. We just started back up this month with the permits at the community center. I know this coming weekend, we probably have 3 or 4 permits. And so the groups are all given cleaning supplies to help the staff clean and wipe the tables down and try and disinfect things at the end of the night. And that seems to be going well so far. We have a number of rentals that are happening at some of our facilities. ISA has been doing a lot of rentals of the sports complex. There's a Milwaukee Brewer baseball camp using this Ashwaubenon Park right now. Ken Golomsky, who is a former football coach for Ashwaubenon High School, he was part of a crew that put on a special football camp at the sports complex that used to be at St. Norbert College. And the village is running its own basketball camp for different age groups that ends this week. It was a 3-week camp, meeting twice a week, depending on what age group you're in. So we still have a lot of programming opportunities that are going on. I mean, obviously, they're all modified, either by numbers and for safety reasons. But just to let you know, I didn't know, because I do get a lot of questions of what are you doing, and how are you changing things, and what had to be canceled, or what can still be offered. Does anyone have any questions on what we're offering, or changes that we've had to do?
I think everybody pretty much expects that the things are changed quite a bit, and
Yep.
especially this summer, so I didn't know how, it's good that we're taking action on that stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to keep we're trying to create a new normal.
Right.
You know, we're trying to still do things, and if we need to change things up on how we do them, if it allows us to do them, that's the main thing.
Anybody have any questions for Rex on this? Okay, we'll move on to C, Parks and Rec and Forestry Department reports.
Okay, there's a couple of months here, and the main one I'm going to focus on is July, because that's what's happening now. Reconstruction of the plaza at the Ashwaubenon Sports Complex started about 2 weeks ago. So if you saw the plaza that had the fountains and the flagpoles and everything between the ice center and the softball complex, that is destroyed. It's pretty much all dug up. They are starting to put in new retaining walls for the switchback walkway that will be going up to the top. It will eliminate any individual steps. It's just going to be one big ramp, which will be so much easier for maintenance. It's going to work out well. As part of that, they're also going to be putting in the pass-through road between the north and the south parking lot. So that's blocked off right now. Peters Construction is working on that. So if you've driven by there or plan on driving by there, that's what all the activity is going on there. That has a completion date of early October is when we're requiring them to be done. We're doing some stone placement on the Ashwaubenon River Trail in front of the Bay Harbor condominiums. With the high water, especially with the winds blowing in from the north, it's literally pushed the Fox River up and over the trail, where the whole trail is submerged in some spots. So we're having a lot of issues along the waterfront at different points. And it's not so much the water on the trail. I mean, we can deal with that, but it's the debris that it leaves and the potential for it to be undermined. And so what we're doing is we're getting some larger stones and kind of almost making like a stone wall, which will keep the debris out and keep the rock, the gravel that we have in place as the underbase on the trail more in place, so that we don't have damage to the trail itself. Because if the trail gets damaged, that becomes a big expense to fix. We had the 10th annual Ashwaubenon Park cleanup in late June actually. We had over 30 volunteers spread out within the park doing a lot of invasive species removal. We did a little bit on the North Point, and we did quite a bit on both sides of the river right when you first go into the park, just south of the bridge. That's where our long-term goal is to open up more of the park frontage on Broadway so people can see into the park. Talked about the pool being open. Mel's got a whole list of cleaning policies going on. We've spread out all the classes and activities. I have a bigger gap in between them so that after every group of people are using the pool and the shower rooms and the bathrooms, the staff go in there and clean everything. We are discouraging people from using the locker room itself. And we're asking everyone to come dressed to swim so they don't have to use the locker room. And then everything is disinfected after every group of people uses it, and it's ready to go for the next group. So Mel's done a good job of moving that along. The village did receive the Moby mat, which is a nice, wide, long, wheelchair accessible mat that was going to be used at Ashwaubenon Lake this year. The mat that we had, while it worked for some wheelchairs, it didn't work for other wheelchairs. It was causing some issues. Plus, the new mat is teed so that you don't have you can actually picnic, on one of the tee sides if someone needs accessibility to get out onto the sand. It's going to work out a lot better. We are planning on using that next year. We plan on opening the lake back up in 2021. Hopefully we'll be able to do that, and that's when we're going to be using the Moby mat. But that did come in, and a huge thank you. That was a wonderful donation from the Ashwaubenon Lions. And obviously, last thing here is forestry. Forestry has been busy, a lot of watering with the heat, typically doing their pruning and the bed, working on all the flower beds, trying to clear out a lot of invasives. And certainly there's no shortage of ash trees that are starting to die right now. And so we're trying to take those down when we can, that are in the parks, that are in more high visibility areas. And I know Tim, our forester, is working on a bid packet to have all that EAB work contracted out starting this winter. And that'll be a 3-year process where we take down all of the public ash trees in the village that are in the right of ways and in the park facilities. So that's about the
2 questions, Rex.
yeah.
How is the Ashwaubenon sign going?
Ashwaubenon sign, the stone is ordered. We have the mason contracted. We've got the design down. We finalized the design. Like I said, I believe the mason has ordered the stone from Gagno Clay Products. And my best estimate guess is within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be digging out and pouring the foundation.
Okay. Second question is, do you want to put a plug in for the rummage sale?
Yes, the rummage sale, which was postponed twice already, is going to be in September. It's going to be on Friday, September 18th, and Saturday, September 19th. People can still sign up for it. Obviously, we'll have maps and everything that we'll be distributing, but they can call our office, and we'll certainly email them an application packet. But we are still having our yearly rummage sale, but we pushed it to September, earlier in the year in hopes that we'd have a better handle on what's going on and precautions that can be taken. So.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else have anything?
Oh, you know what? I do. I know Rex and I got an email from Keith about Sherwood Forest and the pond and aerator. And that comes up from time to time, even though it's not part of my, but people ask questions about that with the aerator and mosquitoes, things like that. And maybe it'd be a good time now to just kind of, you sent an email back to Keith, and he did a good job explaining exactly how we're handcuffed and what we can do there.
Yeah. So Sherwood Forest Pond, it's a stream that empties into the pond. Then you have 2 standpipes where as the water rises, it goes into the standpipe and then goes underneath Shady and continues on the east side. Whether you agree with it or not, the stream and the pond itself is considered navigable by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Because of that, we can't have those real nice butterfly spray type things that you'll see in some of the other stormwater ponds that may be more private. Because this is a public one that it's considered a navigable stream. So because of it, that, Chris, that's what kind of handcuffs us on what we can do there. Because it is a municipally owned facility and we don't want to put a fence around it, how it's built, it makes it more susceptible to different types of algae and growth. It's got a ledge. So if you jumped into the water, you're only going to jump in a foot or two of water. It doesn't go down like 10 feet immediately, which would be more dangerous to the public. In case a kid fell in or something like that when they were fishing or looking at turtles or butterflies. There's a ledge to it. And a ledge means it's more shallow water until you get to the very center. So that ledge is more susceptible to algae and weed growth, which is what you're seeing in there right now. It's looking kind of nasty because we've had so many 90-degree days. Timing is everything. Aquatic biologists is actually coming in there tomorrow to do a weed treatment and putting a weed treatment down in the pond. So they will be coming in tomorrow on Wednesday to do a treatment of the pond, which we typically do. You have to get a DNR permit to do that because, again, any chemicals put into the water in what's considered a navigable stream, you need DNR permission to do that. So it's a process, to manage what happens in that pond. But it's I can't remember the name of the weed that's in there. There's a couple different types of weeds, but we're hoping that the treatment that we get tomorrow, and we're going to be doing another treatment in about a month. You do one now, because if you put too much of a particular treatment in the water at one time, we don't want it to adversely affect the fish and the turtles and all the other wildlife that makes Sherwood special. So we're doing like a 50% treatment tomorrow, and then we're doing another treatment in about a month. And that should keep at least some of the algae and the weeds knocked down once they take hold.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. I mean, that's a question I get all the
Yep.
time because it's in
Yep.
my area.
Yeah, I hear it too, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got the two, and the aerators do work, and it doesn't look like they're doing much, but it keeps the water circulating. If the water didn't circulate like that, it would be a lot more weedy than it is right now.
Sure.
So we're doing what we can do, what we're allowed to do.
Does anybody else have anything right now? Items for next agenda. Does anybody have anything? If not, if you do have something, just contact Rex or myself and we'll make sure we get it on the next agenda. Need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
Second. Debbie.
Second by Debbie. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you for joining us virtually.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
This conference is no longer being recorded.